the Madman! Hello, I hope you're ready to never fall back with this next set of cards from Fractured in Alterac Valley. Demon Hunter, we've got Field of Strife. 2 mana, your minions have +1 attack, last 3 turns. It's like Savage Roar, except it's like half of Savage Roar, but triple the length of Savage Roar. You also get to put it in the class that has a bunch of rush tokens. It's definitely meant for a tokeny type of Demon Hunter, which I don't see gaining enough popularity to see play it. It needs better standalone cards that don't rely on your opponents having minions necessarily. Something like that. We got Warden of Chains, a 4 mana 2/6 with taunt. Battlecry, if you're holding a demon that costs 5 or more, gain +1/+2. That's a 3/8 with taunt for 4 mana. I actually don't think this is enough to make big demon hunter work, even despite it also getting Caria Felsoul, 6 mana 6/6. Battlecry, transform into a 6/6 copy of a demon in your deck. So good ones to get would be the ones that are 9 mana cards. Then you could get Ancient Void Hounds at the end of your turn, steal 1 attack and health from all enemy minions. You get at the end of your turn, summon a demon from your deck, and those are like the big flashy effects at the end for the big demon decks. But really, at the end of the day, this is just a deck that's running these big demon cards. Seems too slow, too value oriented. Druid's got a cool set of cards. First, we have Capture Coldtooth Mine. 2 mana, choose 1, draw your lowest cost card, or draw your highest cost card. An interesting tutor type of effect. You can put in like that 1 key card usually on the top end. And then the big question is, what is that key card that you really want to tutor for that badly that you would pay 2 mana for? And there's not really anything that you would want to do it for right now, I think. You can also always get the lowest cost card if you've already drawn the highest cost card. This is a good effect, but it's tough to pay 2 mana for it. And there may not be a chance to like actually get the card that you actually want. And then we have a set of 3 cards for Druid that I actually legitimately think could be a deck archetype. First we got Frostwolf Kennels, which is the objective card for Druid. 3 mana at the end of your turn. Summon a 2/2 wolf with stealth. Last 3 turns. That is 6/6 of stealth for 3 mana. It's a reasonable value card and decent for your mid-range deck. However, the extra benefit is the fact that you're summoning 3 beasts, which matters for the Frostsaber Matriarch. 7 mana 4/5 taunt, costs 1 less for each beast you've summoned this game. This might be the card that amplifies Frostwolf Kennels. Frostwolf Kennels by itself, you know, a little bit slow, but a fine card. Frostsaber Matriarch, the goal is to just summon a bunch of beasts, and this could be a 0 mana 4/5 of taunt. With just 1 Kennels, this is 4 mana 4/5 taunt. Not great, but starts to get into the realm of playability, and you're playing this in presumably a mid-range beast deck. I could see it. And this card also fits into that mid-range beast deck. Dire Frostwolf, 4 mana 4/4 stealth, death rattle, summon a 2/2 wolf with stealth. Better Shredder. Instead of a 4/3 Shredder, you have a 4/4 with stealth. And you summon a 2/2 wolf with stealth instead of a 2 mana card. And 2/2 wolf is perfectly reasonable for your 2-drop. And it's a beast. And it's 2 beasts actually, for the purposes of calculating discounts on Frostsaber Matriarch. Stealth beasts are also really sticky by nature, so you could buff them with Arbor Up, you could buff them with other buff cards, but they're around on the board for you to perhaps use Menagerie Warden on? Maybe you even see a card like Fangband Druid. Yes, this card also exists. It's like a blast from the past. Hey, look at all these cards that are kind of cool, but, you know, got overshadowed by other cards. And Wicker Claw, hey, you know that card, that's kind of cool. That was in the last set. Do you remember this card? Beast Druid. I think that's realistically a thing, because it's not so slow that it would be quantified as a value deck. It could be quantified as like a slower tempo deck, a mid-range deck essentially. Mage has Build a Snowman. 3 mana, summon a 3/3 Snowman that freezes, add Build a Snow Brute to your hand. And importantly, it is a frost spell. And Build a Snow Brute summons a 6/6 for 6 mana and adds Build a Snogre. Snogre is a 9 mana frost spell that summons a 9/9. So 3 frost spells in 1. It's very comparable to a card like Pyros. Pyros did not see that much play, but this is better than Pyros because in addition to just being 2 mana 2/2, 6 mana 6/6, 10 mana 10/10, 3 mana 3/3 also freezes, 6 mana 6/6 also freezes, 9 mana 9/9 also freezes, and it's 3 frost spells, which could matter if you're playing your mage quest deck. Also, unlike Pyros, you can play build a Snowman and build a Snowbrute on the same turn. It is a little bit slow, and how good the quest mage is after the nerf is definitely up for question. All the other quest mage frost spells have the drastic downside of requiring your opponent have a enemy minion in play. But now instead you can just cast the always reasonable build a Snowman. Rogue gets a spicy hero, Shadowcrafter Scabbs. 7 mana, battlecry, return all minions to their owner's hands. Summon 2 4/2 shadows with stealth. And the hero power you get is Sleight of Hand. For 0 mana, the next card you play this turn costs 2 less. Boy, is this a huge upgrade on Vanish. For 1 extra mana, you get 2 4/2s with stealth, and also you change your hero power. In the late game, the 2 mana dagger isn't very useful. So you get like a permanent 2 mana discount each turn. Including the turn you play Scabbs if you have something that can be playable as a result of costing 2 less. I see this as a really useful stall card, and also just a useful card in general for value rogue. I mean, value rogue would actually love it. But hey, maybe even tempo rogue of some sort, or even rogues that have cool battlecry effects that want to be replayed, because the return all minions to their owner's hands is sometimes a benefit for you. I expect a lot of later game rogues to be sporting the Scabbs. Gonna skip Shaman for now because I think the Shaman cards are worth the close out the video on. Warlock gets Tamsin's Phylactery. 4 mana, legendary, discover a friendly Death Rattle minion that died this game. Give your minions its Death Rattle. So that's a really specific card. You want to be running specific Death Rattle minions that you want to spread across a wide board. And it's a legendary, which means that you'd have to build your deck in such a way to try to get Tamsin's Phylactery in order to play it. Really tough to pull off. It's like you need to play a Death Rattle Zoo, basically. And then at some point, Tamsin's Phylactery might be good as a buff on all of your guys. Now, in the last expansion, I'll bring this up just because it's not a card that saw a lot of play, but the mini set did give you this 1 mana tradable guy, which summons imps, so that's actually a decent combination. Wicked Shipment into Phylactery, 5 mana, and then have like a board full of really threatening death rattles potentially. I personally don't think it'll be worth the effort to build a deck like this, and it'll be really reliant on drawing this 1 of Phylactery in your deck. Hollow Abomination, 5 mana 2/8, battlecry, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, honorable kill, gain the minion's attack. That's a lot of stats on a card, especially if you think you're going to specifically get an honorable kill. If you get an honorable kill on something that has like 3 attack, well then it's 5 mana 5/8, with battlecry having dealt 1 damage to all enemy minions. Nice. You can also kill multiple enemy minions with it. And after your battlecry deals 1 damage, the Hollow Abomination can still just be on the board and actually kill things and get more honorable kills. A kind of neat card. It's difficult to see what type of deck would want this though. This is kind of like a mid-rangey, tempo-y deck card. One of the downsides is it relies on your opponents having minions. Big Pile of Stats has never been quite as bad as it is currently, and it's been bad over the ages, but in this particular meta, especially since you're not guaranteed to be able to kill anything, meh. Dreadlich Tamsin, 6 mana. Battlecry, deal 3 damage to all minions, shuffle 3 rifts into your deck, draw 3 cards. A rift is a card that, when drawn, casts when drawn, summons a 3/3 Dread Imp, and as usual, whenever you draw one of these, you draw another card. This is a real hero card. The villains are always strongest. draw 3 cards. That's already worth 5 or 6 mana if you consider Nourish, but we'll call it 5 mana. You're basically paying, you know, an extra mana in order to get the Fel Rifts into your deck and draw 3 cards. That would probably be fair, as well as the fact that it gets 5 armor. So even if this wasn't a hero card, seems like that would be reasonable by itself. Oh wait, you also deal 3 damage to all minions. I didn't even mention that part. So yeah, what a really good control warlock type effect. But wait, that's not all. Your hero power becomes Chains of Dread, which for 2 mana, instead of tapping, you get the free tap, no health payment required. And it's actually a free plus tap, because you shuffle a Rift into your deck and then you draw a card, which means you just occasionally have the chance to get a 3/3 imp. Handlock apparently is a pretty good deck right now. I fully expect Dreadlich Tamsin to make it into that deck. And now that brings us to Spammy Arcanist. It's Defile on a 3/4. And you actually added Defile's 2 mana cost to a 3 mana 3/4. Cool. Now every class can Defile. That's actually really useful because every class now has ways to deal with hordes of small minions. Unlike Defile, however, the 5 mana cost is pretty prohibitive. Usually there would be the small minions that you might want to remove on, like, for example, on Token Druid's board. It wouldn't be that uncommon for them to have 1 health, 2 health, 3 health, and 4 health minions on turn, say, 3 or 4. But you can't play the Spammy Arcanist until you have 5 mana. And it was also a card in a different era. Defile had a lot of targets in the minion-rich era that it was played in. By the way, quick note that Defile was not actually good, the set that it was printed, but it was good later on. I just like to always say that in these reviews, because people make fun of me when I said that Defile was a 1-star card, but I was more right than wrong. Anyway, Spammy Arcanist may not be good in a meta where there aren't many minions, or there aren't many small minions. We got Grimtotem Bounty Hunter, 3 mana 4/2, Battlecry, destroy an enemy legendary minion. Tech card, obviously, in terms of how good it is, and what can it kill? Well, you've got all the questline legendaries for 1, and Mr. Spite, you could always hit him. Useful card if the game becomes more about value. In games that would be all about getting to the late game and then trying to outvalue the opponent and trying to have extra answers on the opponent, Grimtotem Bounty Hunter would be good. But I don't believe we are in that kind of meta at the moment. And hey, it's a target that can get Grimtotemed. It's the Lokholar the Ice Lord, a 10 mana 8/8 elemental with Rush and Wind Fury. And it costs 5 less if you have 15 health or less. Seems like a good card to consider in the Warlock decks. Because you will always be at a pretty small amount of health. And 5 mana 8/8 Rush Wind Fury, I could see that. Great anti-aggro card in that sense. Unlike just a big guy with taunt, it comes into play and immediately deals with perhaps 2 of the bigger threats of these swarms that are getting your health total to be pretty low. The flavor of it is pretty good too, because in good old Alterac Valley, the way to summon Lokholar the Ice Lord was upon the blood of your enemies. And this guy is easier to summon if you are bleeding. And of course, I wanted to save the best class for last, and that's Shaman's classes. We'll start off with Snowball Fight. Frost spell, 3 mana, deal 1 damage to a minion and freeze it. If it survives, repeat this on another minion. So note that there's really specific wording on this one, which is to say that if you just play it against 1 target, you're going to deal 1 damage to it and freeze it, and it's going to be really expensive Frost Shock. But if there's at least 2 minions, then at least one of those will die. This does include minions potentially on your side, and it gets everyone into a fun little snowball fight until 1 person dies. It seems cool. It's like a Frost Nova with a whirlwind effect added to it. Plus, it guarantees that 1 thing will die, assuming that nothing had 1 health or lower when you first cast Snowball Fight. Good stall card and control card for the Control Shaman. We have a bunch of those around, right? Control Shamans? Valley Shamans? But hey, if one doesn't exist right now, this will be a decent card for that deck. But wait until you see our closer here. It's Bearon Gla'shear. 7 mana 6/6 elemental. Blizzard learned from the joke of past Frost Shaman and has put a real payoff to Frost Shaman at the end here. Battle Cry. For each frost spell you've cast this game, summon a 3/4 elemental that freezes. After you cast all of those frost spells in your control shaman deck, you slam down the 7 mana card, which puts out a decent amount of stats, but not that big. How are you going to cast all these frost spells? How are you going to get the 7 mana? Is the payoff big enough? Oh no. Does Control Shaman exist? Will Control Shaman exist because of Bearon Gla'shear? But hey, for those of you who are, dreading that might not work out, just look at all of the excellent frost spells that you could cast that are currently in Standard. By the way, that is not a typo. There are currently no frost spells. But don't worry, that means that there's going to be all these good frost spells to look forward to in this expansion for Shaman.